there's been several developments when it comes to the NRA, and none of them have been good. First, we did an excerpt from Tim Mack's book. He just published. We had him on the podcast not that long ago, a week or two ago, and we published a portion from this book, from chapter 11 in there, specifically about InfoCision, which is a contractor the NRA uses to fundraise, to bring in new membership. And we published the section that discusses how the NRA will let InfoCision keep 100% of the over-the-phone credit transactions that it does whenever it brings in a new member or reactivates an old member, which essentially means that the NRA gets $0 from that transaction. So somebody who thinks they're paying dues to the NRA is actually just directly paying InfoCision 100% of their transactions. So it's something that I think maybe not a lot of people know or realize about the fundraising tactics of the NRA. And in effect, they're paying this InfoCision company more money. At least they did between 2008 and 2018. They paid them more money to fundraise for them than they actually brought in revenue.
Right.
So, it's just another one of these sort of sweetheart deals that the group has had over the years that are now facing increasing scrutiny, both internally and from the New York Attorney General, who wants to shut down the group, of course. We've covered quite a lot of that as well. She certainly has her own motives in the case, but these are the sorts of things that she's going after. Anyway, on top of that, unfortunately, the NRA has also been victim of a Russian ransomware hack that's ongoing and getting worse. In fact, we published a piece this week about how the thieves have released a new batch of documents, internal NRA documents, that unfortunately expose the personal information of many current and former NRA staff members. Dozens of them, in fact, have had their social security numbers and bank account information now leaked in this attack on the NRA. Apparently, it seems to be a ransomware situation where this group of criminals is trying to extort the NRA by hacking into their computers and releasing sensitive information. Unfortunately, the people that we spoke with who have been exposed in this attack have confirmed that much of the information in there is authentic, and also that they have not been contacted by the NRA about the leaks at all to this point, which the NRA didn't respond to our questions about the leaks, so questions about what they're doing to help those who've been exposed, or whether the leak is actually contained at this point. Because interestingly, the hacker group had posted, they'd moved the NRA section on their dark web website. They moved it from ongoing hack to completed hack, and it appeared that things were going to be over after the last round of leaks, which also included personal information from NRA staff members. And this is stuff from the lowest level teenage hourly seasonal workers to the highest levels of NRA leadership. Obviously we've kept, we are not republishing the documents, especially ones that include personal information like that. And we're not linking to where they're posted online, but these documents are freely available to anyone who can figure out how to get to the hackers' websites, which is frankly not that hard to do. They're also being collected into traditional file sharing services and shared around the internet. So it's thousands of people have seen this stuff already. And frankly, we just felt a responsibility to report that this is happening, so that especially these NRA employees or current and former employees can try and protect themselves, or hopefully the NRA will step in and do something. It seems like that would be their responsibility in this case. but they haven't made any announcements or said anything publicly as to whether or not or how they're going to do that. So we're still waiting on that. And then in addition to the personal information that's been released, there's also a lot of internal budget information, internal financial documents in the NRA that things like their D&O policy for board members, which has been a point of contention. A number of board members resigned over the lack of one last year. Things like their cybersecurity guidelines were leaked as part of this. At least old ones, 2016 ones were leaked. The spokesman contracts, salary for employees. It's just a ton of stuff. There's hundreds of documents. You also have their membership models that give details on how many people are actually members, the specific numbers, their budgets, their financial reports. A lot of this stuff is in there, and it's only getting worse, it appears, this hack of the NRA.
Right.
So
yeah, like you said, it would be nice to at least either get a comment or a public statement, just to let people know what they're doing to get a handle on this situation, doing something to prevent this from happening in the future.
Yeah, they haven't spoken since the first news of the hack back in October. And frankly, the media seems to have lost interest in this story for some reason. Yeah. Everyone covered this when it first broke back in October, but the documents released then were not terribly interesting. Frankly, I mean, it seemed maybe as a proof of, they were maybe just trying to show that they really did have access to internal documents when they leaked those ones. But the ones since then have been much worse for the NRA, and especially for its staff. So I don't know why there hasn't been much media follow-up to this beyond us. I mean, certainly I think the Reload is one of the only outlets that has the sourcing available inside of the NRA to confirm a lot of these documents, to authenticate them. And so perhaps that's why there haven't been a lot of follow-ups from other groups, but it's still concerning to me. I mean, I hope that those affected are aware. I mean, we've tried to, through our efforts to authenticate the documents, we've been in contact with a number of people who have been exposed, and they did not know. So I don't know. I think it's a terrible situation, but hopefully there won't be more people exposed in this. It's going to be difficult, I think, for a lot of those people to deal with their personal information being hacked. It's extremely unfortunate situation, but
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we also had, there's no resolution to that story, unfortunately, at this point. Hopefully there will be in the near future, and people will be protected in some way. I think the NRA owes them that much for sure.